is about the process and it's not about
beginning then. So I entitled this brainstorming of engage, involve, diversify, and include. As Hernani mentioned, I'm an associate researcher, and I also coordinate I'm a project manager for European projects, and also the communication and public and patient involvement officer from the rheumatology research group. I have an experience of more than 10 years in biomedical research. I started with a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology, although it was mainly focused in tissue engineering. So this was already back in 2003. So I was probably one of the first people in Europe to have an actual multidisciplinary training, although that word now is very common. Also, I wanted to explore other ways to communicate science. So I did a postgrad in marketing of audiovisual content. And I'm also involved with different scientific associations in order to contribute to the promotion of scientific culture through a gender perspective. So our work, the Rheumatology Research Group, is based in La Coruña. We are a group of more than 50 people, coordinated by a clinical doctor, Francisco Blanco, and we mainly focus in musculoskeletal disorders. So as Hernani told me that you were in the ideation phase, I'm going to share, let's say, a few projects that I've either coordinated or participated, so that you can use them as case studies if you want. So why I started doing this, or why I'm involved with this kind of projects. First, because if you ask people what comes into your mind when we talk about science, the first thing would be innovation, and the second will be health topics. And I also share with you the results of a citizen, a public consultation that was just published yesterday with a project Concise, that I recommend you to look into this policy brief, and it's open access. And our public from Europe said that there is a demand for a variety of formats in order to use present science content to different audiences. And also citizens call for more direct engagement with scientists. The science information sources that are generally used are still a combination of traditional media, or television and yes, sorry, the television, and also radio, but also all the new social media and digital media options. And one of the problems that we have, or concerns that we have currently with the scientists and science information depicted in media, is that there is another representation of women. This is, I show you results from radio in Finland, but it could be transversal to, I believe, most of the different sources that we have presented there. Another thing, we're not only concerned about the underrepresentation, but also how women are depicted in media. And for example, here you can see a report from last Nobel Prize in Economics given to a couple, and they were depicted in media as Professor Banerjee and wife. There could be many other examples. When we look into the social value of professionals, both doctors and scientists are the most highly ranked. But again, we have another bias, is that when we ask people about women's aptitudes by fields, most people overwhelmingly say that women are have aptitude by everything except sciences. And another reason why we are concerned about the underrepresentation of women on television is also related with children. So one of the projections of professional growth for the future is related with the STEM fields, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But there is, at the moment, a decrease in interest that is already seen in very young ages. So if we look into the content for children that it's present on television, we can again see an underrepresentation of women, and also, for example, in the case of people of color. And this goes into either family films or primetime programs. So what we do know is that media is reinforcing biases about which STEM fields are for women. And another interesting study from the Gina David Academy, no, sorry, the Gina Davis Institute for Gender in Media has conducted a study on women that are currently scientists and in the STEM fields, and they found that 63% of the women that are currently in STEM fields had Dana Scully as a role model. And most of you are very young, so probably you won't remember Dana Scully, but she was the first women scientist depicted in television, in a television show or series. So having this in mind, we have created two different projects, and one is a follow-up of the other. That's why I decided to put them together for this presentation. So the main goals of these projects were to promote a scientific, technological, and innovation culture with impact in health, promote the role of women as experts in health sciences, promote the comprehension of scientific concepts and hot topics related to biomedicine, and also promote scientific vocations with special focus on girls using media. So our strategy was to involve different stakeholders. We involved researchers in health sciences, especially women, in order to also bring them to enroll in research, communication, and dissemination activities so that they could have a more active voice in the media. We also collaborated with journalists and science communicators in order to create contents that could shift social perception on gender issues and biomedical research. And finally, we also included the society in order to them to help us design products that can lead to a better communication so that people can understand the benefits to patient health of biomedical research. We used an approach of pairing women in different stages of their careers with target public of different ages. So young scientists would be working with the products for children. Middle stage career would be involved in the activities for teenagers, and senior or established career researchers would be giving messages to the general public. But we not only focused in the final products, but also we wanted to use the production process as an instrument for learning, awareness, and stimuli of both public engagement and gender issues in science. And I think this was one of the most innovative things about these projects. So the first thing that we worked on was a TV series called 1 Minute of Biomedicine. On this one, we introduced novel concepts and hot topics to young audiences in order to eliminate the false stereotype of the traditional image of the scientist. We enrolled young scientists so that also children could have a more close relation to the ones that they were aspiring to be. And another thing that we did is that we performed an open casting for non-professionals, and the idea of this was to engage young scientists in media, but also local educative communities. And in order to bring them closer and also to increase the impact of our actions. So in each episode, different concepts are explained. This can be related to microfluidics, computational simulation, whole organ engineering that could be like alien to someone that would be already in our age thinking about these concepts, but we were able to translate them into simple, relatable to daily life concepts. So I'll show you just the trailer.
Joana, permite-me só fazer aqui uma pergunta.
Uhum.
Tinha voz off este vídeo? Ou era só música?
Este vídeo não tinha voz off, não. É só o trailer.
Just asking about the sound. I'm sorry, I was speaking Portuguese. To see if we were sharing the sound of the video as well, or if we had missed something.
No. This is just a trailer.
So we have only the music behind it, right?
Yes, yes.
So just checking. Thank you.
So for this series, we have partnered with the different institutions. One was the National Museum for Science and Technology. We had different events with also local educative communities. And we partnered with Fest Film Festival. They have a session specific for children to enroll with the film. And what we did is that we invited local scientists and also had some hands-on experiments so that they could relate better with the topics that were shown in each of the episodes. And for the most curious, we had a complementary book to the series. So each episode was complemented with a text from an expert, and this could also be used, for example, for teachers in schools in order to have better insight for any of the topics. We used a normal distribution for television, but they're also all online as open access content, so that everyone can use them. And we have subtitles in 3 different languages. So the second television series is called I Want to Be a Scientist When I Grow Up. So the first one was more on the topics, and this one explored the professionals. And one of the things that we really wanted was, remember what I told you about the STEM workforce, is to make a connection between the STEM professions and their application in health. So it's showing less traditional medical professionals, but they can still have an impact in health. And this could be either robotic engineers, they can be textile engineers, pharmaceutical researchers, mathematicians. And in this way, we wanted to make or to increase the auto knowledge of girls and boys, supporting their future professional decisions. We also took into attention to have diversity in the characters. This was very important for us. So each of the episodes has a woman scientist and a girl, and the woman scientist can be the mother, the older sister, the aunt, the woman working at the museum. So people that we have on our daily lives. And each of them presents tasks and their professional profiles. And also we used animations in order to generate the association of ideas or concepts that the children learn from school with the tasks performed by the different professionals. We also know from research that girls have a bigger influence with role models. So each of the episode was complemented in social media with profiles from real women scientists, and we also tried to have different nationalities and have a more multicultural presentation of the women involved, because we also believe it's a reflection of science. We had much more partnerships with this series, and I will highlight just a few of them. One of them was with the Vodafone Foundation. They have a club of volunteers for subtitling, specifically for deaf and hard of hearing children. So in this case, we would be promoting the inclusion of the television series. We collaborated as well with A3 Media Foundation. They have a beautiful project of a TV channel in different children's hospitals. So they create specific content for that channel. And this way we were also contributing in children to understand who are the other different professionals that are also working on the solutions for their health conditions. And I would just highlight as well the collaboration with the ECUSA Association, which is the biggest association of scientific professionals outside of Spain, in this case in the US, and they have a program with the children that speak Spanish. So in this way, we also wanted to make it more inclusive and accessible to these children. Another activity that we worked with was interactive school visits. In this case, what we did was we tried to break the ice and bring closer to teenagers of real role models. So what we did is that the researchers filmed themselves with their smartphones in whatever environment they wanted, and they would present themselves in a very informal way, also talking about the activities that they like to do. So it was a more personal presentation. On a second phase, they visited the school, they give a talk about their scientific work, and then we had a poll about well, the concepts that they learn, and also different interests of science from the teenagers. We did this already a few years ago, and now it's, especially with all this that we are all using Zoom, the poll instrument is very useful in order to create interaction in terms of learning, and also to settle a base for more conceptual, knowledgeable, I would say. We also created a podcast called Health with Biomedicine. In this case, we have a collaboration of a local radio and a journalist, Antia Dias. And the idea was to promote women professionals of excellence in the biomedical field and disseminate with clear messages the impact of their research in the quality of life and patients' health. We did 2 editions of this, and we had all different kinds. So the first edition was more on specifically women that were researchers. On the second edition, we already involved women working in science policy, in health management, also on ethical committees. So we give a more broader spectrum of professionals, but also of topics and that women are involved in decision making. And together with this, and knowing that women are also underrepresented in Wikipedia, we created the profiles for every woman that participated or was interviewed in the program. And as far as I know, this was the first podcast specifically dedicated to women in science. As a complement to this program, we also created an audio series with an historical perspective of the contributions of women in different fields of science, but with a final impact in people's health. So we had a lot of Nobel Prize winners. We also tried to have multicultural representation. And finally, we decided to have a complementary book with all the stories. And each one of them is always the mother talking with a child, and the topic can come from any kind of regular daily based situation in order to tell the story about the discovery and the story of that specific scientist. Another project or case study that I would like to highlight is related also with a changing paradigm, and it's related with the a citizen participatory approach that we are now seeing in worldwide, and also related with a strategy of responsible research and innovation. So it is related with the notion of patient participation in traditional projects as subjects. The next level would be the engagement, where you would, it would be more a one-way communication about whatever related health topic would be being developed. Sorry. And we are now looking into the involvement of patients in research. And this means that people are involved in setting research priorities and also steering the direction of research. And for that, it has been created a new concept that is the patient research partners, who are patients who are collaborators and work side by side with scientists. With this new concept, our group is working within an international project called Approach. So it's Applied Public-Private Research Enabling Osteoarthritis Clinical Headway. The main goal of this project is to identify patient subgroups of osteoarthritis in order to further develop personalized medicine treatments. So in this project, we have the participation of a patient council that has been involved in every phase of the project, already in the phase also of preparing the proposal for the funding bodies. Their role mainly is to help improve the quality and sustainability of the different outcomes, and they can be providing expertise on real life with osteoarthritis. They will also represent the participants' perspective on the clinical trial setup, and also different actions that can improve recruitment and retention, for example, by the creation of a biannual newsletter for the patients, where the patient council contributes with articles specifically directed to the participants of the study. And also a lot of them also act as advocates for the project and in general for the advancement of osteoarthritis research. For this is very important the role of a facilitator that can assess and support continuously the relation between the patients and the researchers, so that also the patient council has a own space for themselves, and then all the way interacting with the researchers. And I would also like to talk about other projects that I have collaborated. So different formats. These are more related with the art and science. Transgenica was a meeting for transmedia performing art creators. It was developed in a form of artistic scientific residency program on a topic called Zugunrua. I've never learned in any language how to properly say this term, but it's the German for Zug, which means move, migration, and Unruhe, anxiety and restlessness, which means the anxious behavior in migratory birds. So the residency occurred in 3 different phases. One of individual research. So we were given the question, the triggering question, what was our specific Zugunrua? So what was the situation that causes restlessness, and also the necessity of change? And I believe that all of us can relate to that in any time of our lives. And we were also given the indication to create visual formats. So we presented, each one of us, a video, installations, photography, collage. I was really worried in the beginning about this because at that moment I only knew technical science, so I didn't have artistic skills. But well, in the end, I did an installation, I created a text, I did a video. So for me, it was also very important to shift my perspective of how, in this case, was also a scientific topic, because the first thing that I did was actually looking into research papers about this pre-migratory anxious state, because even though I did biology as my first degree, I've been always working with the human biology, so I had no idea about this phenomenon. And most of the things that I brought or that I found interesting in the articles were used by the others in their own research projects. So it was very interesting collaboration. On the phase 2, we used the space. In this case, you can see here was next to a church. And we use it as a collective topography experiment. So we would be like birds within a shed, or rats in a laboratory. And we use the technique of viewpoints, which is a technique used for performing actors, for training actors. And it's related with using the observation and movement in order to create a play. So in the second phase, we did a public performance, including many of the steps that we developed with this viewpoints strategy. And we used video mapping, also live cinema. And a very nice thing with this is that the public was also within this pigeon shed. So they were also being experimented. This project evolved for another theatrical performance called Zugunrua. And in this case, guides the public through the story of three characters, exploring the phenomena of migration anxiety in our current society. And it helps to explore different topics about the impact of social media on our idealization of the body, of happiness, and also of the term migration as a mutation more than or an individual mutation beyond what could be motivated due to economical or political conditions. And it has been developed in two different formats. One for a more regular theatrical exhibition, but still that people are introduced to different levels of reality. So using virtual reality, immersive video, and also video mapping. And another very interesting format for more non-conventional spaces where people would use individual VR headsets for an immersive experience. And finally, during physical lockdown, even though we were unable to travel or the museums were closed, I think there was an enormous sparkle of creativity on formats and to approach the public. And even though I was not involved or was partially involved in some of these initiatives that I mentioned here, I would like just to share with you because I think they could be very valuable to the phase that you are now. I would definitely recommend you to go into the Science Gallery website. And they have their target audience is mainly a young audience for, I believe, 15 to 25 years old. They have created lately a residency program virtual, so there's a lot of visual products to engage with the public, also related to health. There are other scientific topics, but you can explore health. And I would also recommend the Ars Electronica, that it's the biggest festival in the world of art, science, and technology. This year, it's normally based in Linz in Austria, and this year it was performed virtually in more than 120 locations worldwide. It was incredible. And the creativity of the projects, that some of them allowed you the interaction of being physically there for the countries that was possible, but they had both physical and virtual interactions. So people, audiences that were virtually present could interact with the people that were in the rooms anywhere in the world. I think this event was absolutely extraordinary. And another that I would recommend is the Star Prize Awards that is promoted by the European Commission, and it's pretty much on innovation and scientific innovation and technology. In the image, it's Gito Tomasello, is an Italian artist receiving one of the awards a few years ago. She has a beautiful project on empowering women in intimate health called Future Flora that I would also recommend you to have a look in. And I got to the final step, so I would like to acknowledge all the institutions that have collaborated in these different projects and our partners. And I hope this has inspired you. And again, I thank you very much, the organizers, for the invitation.